Alrighty. Let's get this in my little pocket, out of the way. Often I need to get the cords out of the way as well because I tend to move with my hands. Have you noticed? I speak with my hands a lot? It is all good, isn't it? So how are we? Did we sleep well? Yes. Who came to the book launch gala last night? Did you have fun? Yes. Did you wish, I wish that was me? Yes. Did you actually speak to the authors and really get a feel for how they were feeling and how, because some of them were second and third time authors, but the majority of them were first time authors and really had no idea how it was going to feel. Some of them were so nervous and I just wanted to give them a big hug and put them in my arms. And but you've got to break that first time, don't you? And a lot of them were saying actually that they're comfortable really speaking in front of 100 people that they don't know. All of a sudden they were faced with, they'd invited their friends and their family and they'd never really spoken. They'd never really been an author in front of their friends or their family. And so that's a whole different kettle of fish, isn't it? Sometimes our family know us as the mum, the father, the son, the daughter, the brother, the sister. And when you try and say, I've taken on a new identity as a clinician or an author or a presenter or whatever it is, they kind of go, yeah, but you're just mum or you're just dad, not important. So it was a really big moment for a lot of them for the first time to actually stand up and say, I am an author, this is my book. And, it's an incredibly powerful moment. And some of them are all wooing and woeing afterwards saying, I wish I'd done it better. I wish I'd done it this. And I just think, you know what? It was the first time. And we use an event like last night for our authors as a first trial. And the book isn't out yet. It's about 6 to 8 weeks out before it's printed. But we use it to get them used to it because then we do an individual launch for each of them in their own hometown. And so it gets them used to the experience, used to feeling how it's going to feel to talk about themselves as an author. So it's very exciting, yes? Yes. So come on, up on your feet. Who are we? Authors. We are authors. So remember what we need to say. We are the upcoming author of, and just state what your book title is. We are online course developers and digital marketers. You ready? Taking a deep breath. I am the upcoming author of. I don't believe you. That was pathetic. I don't trust any of your books. Come on, I want to hear your book titles. And even if you don't know yet, just say that book. Yeah? So I am the upcoming author of. Yes, I'm an online course developer. I am a digital marketer. Woo! Who wants to do it themselves? Yes, come on, let's get the microphone. Have we got the handheld mic? Yeah, whoa. I mean, up here. Come on. Come and tell us who you are.
Oh no, I'm not going to do that.
Yes. Elizabeth, come on, yes. You have the stage.
Okay. I am the upcoming author of Mary Had a Little Lamb That Didn't End Up in the Frying Pan. And I am a digital marketer.
Online
course and a digital marketer.
Woohoo! Based on her title, what do you think the book is about? And who is it for? Upcoming vegans. It's people who are considering veganism. Isn't that a great title?
Yeah. Wow.
Mary had a little lamb that didn't end up in the frying pan. Ooh, creative. Well done, Elizabeth. For some reason I want to call you Margarita. I don't know why. All right, who else? Yes, go for it. Come on, Amanda.
That's not part of the book. I'm Amanda, and I am the up-and-coming author of The Pantry Detective, How to Choose the Food You Use.
Woo!
I am a digital online marketer and a course developer.
Yes! Congratulations. That's beautiful. How does that feel for the two of you who've done it so far? How does it feel? Besides nervous, did it feel more comfortable than yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? What about you, Amanda? Did it feel more comfortable saying that than yesterday? Committed.
I've said it out loud.
And you've said it in front of nearly 49 or so people. You've made a promise to the world now. Oh, my lordy. Who else?
Okay, I'm doing it.
Yes. Whoa!
Okay, if one Amanda can do it, another Amanda can do
Absolutely.
it. I'm Amanda Horden. I'm the upcoming author of Sex, Reclaiming Your Body After Cancer. And I'm also the digital marketer and the, what am I? Online course and the
I
digital
think our
marketing.
beautiful brain needs to come back to that, because one thing about rewiring your brain, no matter how much you try and pretend you believe it, your brain, your body, and your voice box and your throat and your memory will let you know when you don't believe it yet. By either forgetting the words or stuttering over it or having a funny feeling in your belly or not quite sure. So we are very convinced you're the upcoming author of Sex After Cancer. Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't believe
Work on the
that
digital.
you're an online course developer or a digital marketer.
Okay.
So let's try it again.
Okay, all three.
Yep.
Okay. I'm Amanda Horden. I'm the upcoming author of Sex, Reclaiming Your Body After Cancer. I'm a digital marketer and an upcoming, I've already forgotten it. What the fuck? What's that? I'm an online course developer.
Start again.
Okay. I'm Amanda Horden. I'm the upcoming author of Sex, Reclaiming Your Body After Cancer, or Rekindling the Spark After Cancer. I've already forgotten it. I'm an online course developer and a digital marketer.
Are you an online course developer?
Yeah.
What did you do? Maybe.
Yeah, because I'm not entirely sure if I really want to do that yet.
Okay, so there's the reason why. Did you see the out of alignment with the brain?
Because I'm really
So
sure about the book.
Course is never going to happen unless she's sure she's going to be doing it, unless the brain and the body are all in alignment as well. So maybe what you can actually
I'm learning how to do.
Consciously rewire right now is I'm learning how to be an online course developer, or I'm choosing whether to be an online course developer.
Yeah.
Make
Okay,
a truthful statement so we're not
Okay.
rewiring the fear. Does
All
that
right,
make
that's
sense?
more authentic, yeah. So I'm Amanda Horden. I'm the upcoming author of Sex in the City. Oh, no, hang on, Sex After Cancer. And I am choosing whether to be an online course developer, and I will conquer the digital marketing realm of my area of expertise.
Whoa!
Thank you.
That's what we want to rewire. And when the decision comes, the decision will come. Anyone else? Excellent. Oh, yes. This is 3-year procrastinator on a book. This is a big step.
Hi everyone, my name is Philip Lowe. I'm the upcoming author of Quit Smoking at Once, How to Stop Permanently, Painlessly, Naturally. I'm an online course developer and a digital marketer.
Yes. Woo! Anyone else? Oh my golly, I'm so excited. Come on up. Thank you. My pleasure, Vanessa. Let's do it.
I'm Vanessa Giannis. I'm the upcoming author of Enjoying Menopause, 7 Steps to Alleviating Menopause Symptoms Naturally. I'm an online course developer and a digital marketer.
Whoa-ho-ho! Go you. How did that feel?
Yeah, good.
Better than yesterday?
I'm just still struggling with my
Yeah, because it's a working title with your subtitles, so that's cool. That's very natural until you get sure of what your title's going to be. Anyone else? Yes. Oh, look at you all now. I think is good enough.
Hello, I'm Lynette Courtney, and I'm an upcoming author of, as in handcuffs, Arrest That Weight Gain.
Woohoo!
And I am a digital online person because I'm going to follow that through with digital onlines. I'm a digital online marketer. What else am I?
And an online.
Yeah, that. What she said.
She's not really.
Is Leela the one that wasn't sure whether she was going to do an online course?
No, I wanted to do online, but I'm a technical tech phobe, and I'm not very good at.
just
I
add
know
the
my
learning.
stuff, but I can't market me.
Yeah. So just add the learning. I'm learning how to.
I'm
That way it'll
learning.
help your brain rewire it.
Okay.
So I'm learning how to be an online course developer and how to be a digital marketer.
I'm Lynette Courtney, and I'm an upcoming author of Arrest That Weight Gain. I thought of the cover in handcuffs, and identify the courses as a sub under. And I'm like you. I'm going into a mental block.
I'm learning how.
I'm learning how to be a digital marketer and a whatever
Online course
Yeah, that. I don't know. You get out here and you go. Thank you.
Well done. Well done. Well done, gorgeous. So I kept looking at Brett going, come on, Brett. Come on, Brett. Come on, Brett. And he did.
Just waiting. I was just trying to work on the title. Hi, I'm Brett. I'm an upcoming author of I Am Success, Surviving and Thriving in the First 3 Years of Business. I'm also a digital marketer, and I'm exploring the options of developing online courses.
Cool. That was pretty good. That was very good. Alrighty. Is there one more? Last chance. Yeah. Oh, there's two more then. You were brave enough, you get the opportunity. Now she's saying, I don't want to. I don't want to.
Thanks. Hi everyone, I'm Corinne Baird, and I'm the upcoming author of Perform Better with Each Breath. I'm also learning to become an online course developer and also a digital marketer.
Yes! Woo-hoo. Hang on. Yeah! Well done, darling. And God. I might need to fix my mic after this because it's too loose.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Courtney Jones. I am the upcoming author of the book Guided, Using Your Intuition to Live a Life of Meaning and Purpose. I'm a successful online course developer and a competent digital marketer.
Oh my God.
I'm learning how to do it.
How did that feel? For those of you that did it, if you compare to yesterday when you were saying it, how did that actually compare? Real. It felt real, didn't it? So in just a very short time, in like 48 hours, you've really begun to wire the wiring. Because a belief is just a neural pathway, a connection of neural pathways that has been used so often, you've begun to establish a relationship. It feels in alignment with you. You've begun to think it's who you are. And so in a very short period of time, your brains have started to rewire and take on new identities, yeah? Imagine what will happen after 3 days if you just continue to work with that belief system. And after 4, after 5, after 90. Imagine what you did after 6 months of continuing to just say every day, I am the author of, I am an online course developer, I am a digital marketer. Not only will you have your book and your course and your online course and your digital marketing in place after that kind of period of time, but you will own it and know exactly where you want to go with it. So well done, everyone. Really proud of you. All right, I might just take a minute just to fix my microphone because it needs to go somewhere solid.
Yeah, but it also needs to go higher.
We might just switch it off.
Can we put it on there?
He's not. Are you picking it up now better, Carlos? Oh, you're there. Thank you, doll. Alrighty, so we're just going to do a little bit of a catch-up on yesterday. We've also got a bit of a change to the schedule today where I've had to move a couple of things around because our beautiful Facebook marketer, our Sheni, who does all my Facebook advertising and sets up my ad campaigns and things. She was going to come on this morning first up, but it's early in Queensland and she's a mama. I forgot about that. So she's coming on straight after lunch. So we'll do a catch up on yesterday. We'll work on a little bit of other stuff that we need to get you where you need to be with the course. And then Annie will come on this morning and do our connection to our audience, our languaging around ads and marketing campaigns, and a little bit of other magic stuff, because Annie's a bit of a specialist in Facebook as well. So, but from a different perspective than Sheni. And then later on this afternoon, I'll work on organic reach. So we'll have kind of the paid stuff and the organic stuff this morning from Annie's perspective with marketing and languaging. And then this afternoon, I'll talk about actual strategies to get organic leads and build organic audiences. Wicked. How's that sound? So this is how we're going to be working today. We've got all about magnetizing and monetizing, obviously, building our audiences and monetizing it. Social media, connect with your audience. Our beautiful guest speaker, Annie Murray, and she'll tell you all about herself very shortly. I've been working alongside and as a very, very close friend with Annie for the last few years, and just the most amazing giving woman that you've ever met, and through her own struggles and challenges in life is just still continuing to give to the world. So she's an amazing girl, and you'll get to know her even more this morning. We'll look at organic reach in Facebook with LinkedIn, a couple of other ideas. I'll talk to you a little bit about, YouTube and a few things like that I've played with as well. And we'll look at digital marketing funnels, my favourites. So I'll show you some actual funnels I've done, some that succeeded, some that didn't, so that you can get an idea of the reality of what digital marketing is all about. We'll look at offline marketing and TV, print and other media this afternoon. And of course, just after lunch, I believe Sheni will be joining us to talk about paid reach as well. So she'll be looking at how to maximise and minimise the amount that you spend, if that makes sense. So maximise the outcome and minimise the amount that you actually spend on Facebook. And we're talking specifically Facebook here, because the majority of people are on Facebook. Even the guys who are on LinkedIn, even the guys that are on Instagram, even the guys that are on Twitter are all on Facebook too, or Messenger at least. That's where they're communicating. Okay, and open rates in Messenger are ridiculously high compared to email rates and things now. Having said that, I still avidly recommend having an email list as well and doing a combination, because when you develop a list that is connected to you, you can still have 30 and 40% open rates, and that's the key. The average person's list is dropped down to about 10 or 11 or 12% open rate. But if you are connected to your audience, you're still going to get that 30 to 40% open rates, okay? And depending on how relevant the emails and marketing that you're sending out to them are, and how often, how frequently, we'll talk a lot about that this afternoon. And then world domination. Are we okay with that? Yeah, I'm okay with that too. All right, so let's have a little recap of what we've done so far. Who can tell me what some of the key takeaways so far from the weekend are? Either Saturday, Friday or Saturday, whichever is, yeah.
Structure.
Can we have the microphone again, sorry?
Structure, particularly in regard to putting a book together.
Yep.
Knowing that there's a formula and you can just tweak with that formula, but it's obviously a working formula.
Yeah.
And if we stick to that, obviously a book will be the end result.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the key, I think, with everything. The I don't know how and the overwhelm normally comes from the fact that you don't know the next step. Would that be true? You kind of think you're stuck in the how, you don't know the next step, you don't know what you should be doing, you don't know if what you're going to do is going to be right, and so you're really not sure. But the minute you have a little bit of structure and you just understand what the next step is, and if you focus on just getting that next step done, then you go to the next step, and all of a sudden it just becomes that little bit easier. Yes?
For me, it's transformation. We're talking about the online course in that context of having an online course that's relevant and successful. it's got to take your clients on that journey of transformation. But that actually reflects on the real life of what we're actually doing anyway in our day-to-day work with clients, is to take them on that transformation.
Absolutely.
So it's just a digital version of what we actually do.
Absolutely. And even the book, it's the same principle. Whether you're working one-on-one with a client, you're taking a client from A to B. You're taking them on a journey. Whether you're working with your book, you're taking them on a journey and fulfilling the promise from A to B that's in the title. With the online course, the same thing. You're fulfilling the promise from A to B, and sometimes C and D with the online course. You can always add more because it's such a flexible. And the beauty about the online course, once you've printed a book, you've kind of printed a book until you update the book and change it and get it up on Amazon and again and everything. It stays the same. Whereas an online course can be changed within hours. If you recognise there's something that needs to be updated, further research, or another module that's missing, or there's a module in there that's incorrect, you can very easily just change, and it's so malleable and so instantly reactive. We can really work with it on a daily basis as far as the online content is concerned, which is super exciting. And it's all about transformation. So exactly what Philip was saying, it's not just about the course. It's we're already doing it with our clients in our clinics. We're already doing it with our readers in our books. We're just going to take it to a whole deeper level with the online course. Anyone else have any key takeaways? Fantastic.
Just do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Amanda just said, just do it.
Just do it. I've been harping on about this all weekend, but the contribution statement, without doubt. And I think to stand in your authenticity for everything that you do and to use that structure is really important. And I think the other takeaway for me is do not be afraid to play small. Play big.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's rewire that one.
I think we need to come up the front, and I think we need to say, I am, and I'm playing big. Come on. Yes. Woo.
I had it in my head.
But your subconscious had it otherwise, didn't it?
Yes, my subconscious. I am not playing small any longer. I am playing big. All I can say is, look out, world. Wanda is on the stage.
Oh, my God. Absolutely. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Carlos. Thank you. I want to tell you something about that playing small, playing big. It will happen progressively, no matter how successful or how big your business grows. And I'm talking your digital, your online business here, not so much your clinics. For me, because I had so much wiring about, when I grew up, it was all about being too big for your boots and shut up, kids are not spoken to, not heard, all of that kind of stuff. And when I first started to rewire that was probably in my 20s, but I still didn't believe in myself. There was still so much going on underneath, which is why we're going to do a little bit more mindset stuff today, because it's progressive. We need to keep working on it. But even no matter how successful I've been, it happens again and again and again that wherever you've gotten to, it's still small. It was only, how long ago? Only a couple of months ago, where something else happened in my life and some other kind of realization happened. And I literally sat at my desk at the office just going, oh my God, I've been playing so small. Yeah? And it just changes you to the next level again. So that's a progressive thing. And if you try and think, sometimes if you try and think too big, but don't see the steps, even if the steps change, then the subconscious can shut you down because it hasn't been rewired enough yet. And so you'll find and expect that the playing small kind of happens at a number of stages throughout your progress. And it's just a wonderful realization. That's that feeling that just opens up. It's a physical feeling in your body when you realize, oh my God, I don't want to play that small anymore. I don't want to do that. I did that years ago, which was probably my second big turning point, but my first big turning point as far as online courses and publishing. And I was actually in the back of a room of a workshop and of another practitioner who was teaching out the front. And that practitioner hadn't been in the industry very long. I'd been in the industry about 15, 16 years. I thought I'd achieved quite a lot at the time. And I had a very successful practice, and actually numerous practices. I had 3 different practices in 3 different towns. And I was in the back of that classroom, and I could hear all the other practitioners around me saying, oh, she's reading from a script, and, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I've been doing this longer. And I sat there going, my God, she's got some chutzpah. I love her courage. I just love her courage. And I sat there in that chair and went, Maggie Wild, you've been playing small because you're afraid. What are you doing? And within 3 months, I had my first draft, which had been in my computer for 2.5 years, Philip. I had my first draft of that book ready, and I was on Sunrise TV. Yeah. Because something in me rewired really quickly. It was one of those aha moments that opened the body, that opened the cells of the body to go, this is it. This is my next big step. And again, that has happened progressively throughout this last 6 or 7 years or so. And will probably happen again. So I just want you to be aware of that each is just the next step. And when you're ready for the next step, there'll be somebody that inspires you or something that inspires you or some aha that you have about your own work. And often it can be reflecting back on your own work. That can be your aha. When you go back and you look at all of the material you've produced, or you look through all the clients you've helped, and you look at their testimonials, and you just take the moment to reflect, and the cells of your body suck it in like a sponge, and something changes. So I really want you to remember that. I want you to, over the next couple of days, even the next week, just go back and look at what you've already done. And if your little tail end voice starts to get home after this workshop and go, yes, but, that was fine when she said that, but yes, but, I just want you to keep reflecting on what we already achieved, who you've already helped, how your message has already transformed. Because that is a huge cellular and brain rewire as well. And we often forget to do that as practitioners, don't we? We move on. We just go, next client. We kind of categorize it, do the notes, put it in the drawer, and we forget about it. But just take the time to reflect. Take the time to reflect on your blogs, on all the things that you've achieved, and let your brain absorb it, let the cells of your body absorb it. Deal? Yep. Was there anyone else who wanted to share an aha? Yep, we've got a couple more and then we'll move on.
Maggie Wild, team, and all participants, I think my greatest intake so far is your generosity. It makes me now very much convinced that I will deliver in the content, because generosity is like a magic wand that seems to be opening up an abundance of everything good. And thank you so much for that.
It's my pleasure. It is my pleasure. Thank you. Did you? Yep.
My biggest intake so far is the blink, blink, blink and circle.
How easy is it?
And yesterday I shared that when I went home, I felt the doubt coming in. And today I actually feel inspired, and I've already started writing in my head, and I have a plan where to go tomorrow and start writing. So from somebody that has doubted myself for so long, now...
I want everybody to really take a look at this beautiful woman's eyes when she says this and compare even who she presented herself as 2 days ago.
I feel the confidence now to start writing and inspiring others. As I think you were saying, playing small, it's enough. I don't serve myself. I don't serve my mission to be here, to be born, and to take up this space if I'm not expressing myself and my love for myself and for life. And especially not serving other people that I can actually inspire, coming out of where I was and they are now, make this world a brighter place.
Somebody asked me yesterday how I measure my success by doing this program. And it's when you see that, don't you get that? Don't you get that with your clients? That's why we do what we do. When you see that light in somebody's eyes that actually changes the cells of their body, whether it's about writing a book or becoming an author, or whether it's about changing an addiction, or whether it's about dealing with trauma or dealing with emotional baggage, it's that shift in a human being that we all work towards. And whether we do it through clinic space, whether we do it through books, or whether we do it through online digital marketing.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Oh, yes.
It's the same shift. And the reason I do this program, and the reason I've been doing it for this long with people and sharing as much as I possibly can, is to take little people who've been sitting under an umbrella for a very long time and let them shine, to take the umbrella off and let them stand up and be their full strength and no longer be little.
I wasn't even on the umbrella, I was on the mushroom.
Yeah, under a mushroom. Yeah. Huge transformation in a very short period of time. I'm really, really excited. I'm so glad you came.
So much. I wasn't going to come. It just, if I knew that it was about book writing, I wasn't going to come. So it was about the digital marketing that attracted me. But now it's actually the book that's like inspiring me.
Look what your subconscious mind did. All of my marketing said day 1 book, day 2 online course, day 3 digital marketing. Your subconscious mind, because it knew you had to be here, blocked out day 1.
Yeah. Thank you, mind.
I think we had one here. Yep. Oh, take a deep breath.
It's about all the shit that I've carried. The fact that I've always had to see it's writing a book, and all this isn't about me having to prove that I'm clever. That everything I've been doing has been too large to be actually usable, actually chunking it down into what will add value to people. So I actually have gone from concepts of one huge interconnectedness of everything to I've got about 100 books. I have no problem about online courses. I've got no issue about digital marketing anymore. I'm looking forward to being an international public presenter. Yes.
Hello. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Oh, you haven't finished?
Yeah, electricity. All right. Oh, I wasn't supposed to be crying this much this morning. Has it run? It hasn't.
I don't even have any.
I'm Andrew Miller. I'm the author of an upcoming book called Just Fuck It. A user guide to how to use your brain in 3 easy steps. I'm an online marketer. I'm an online course developer. I'm an international presenter.
Yeah. Oh. What was that?
I knew him before he became famous.
Well done.
Love the title.
Do you get it? Even this weekend, yeah? Who thought that that's what this weekend was about? It's kind of like this big transformation thing. Yeah, you thought you were coming to learn how to write a book, and you have. You thought you were to learn how to do or put together an online course, and we're still in the middle of that, but you're learning how to do that. And then learning how to do digital marketing. But the amount of emotional change, the amount of cellular change, the amount of spiritual change, have I sat here or stood here and professed spiritual awakening?
No, but it did happen.
But it happens. Because when somebody comes from authenticity, when my cells are open, and I love every one of you, and like the person and the couple that helped me learn how to love and experience what love was, until I could believe it myself, until I could believe I was worthy, which took another 30 years after they loved me and believed I was worthy. My job, and that's why I'm the potentialist, is to believe in every one of you. And that's the intent I hold for this workshop. That's my success platform. Yeah? I believe in every one of you, every one of your potential to serve others to the best of your ability, to come out from the umbrella or the mushroom and serve others. Whether you do it through a book, whether you do it through your clinic, whether you do it through a book and an online course, or whether you do it to workshops, to webinars, to online course students, to a global audience in front of a stage of thousands, or in front of your local gym in front of 5 women who want to learn how to overcome sabotage. Yeah, my job is to believe in you until you can believe that you are too. But in the meantime, I've learned a little bit about brain wiring, and my job is to try and help you rewire that faster. Rather than like me, it took 30 years. Yeah? Perhaps it could take 3 days for you to believe in yourself. That's what this weekend is about. Deal?
Yes.
So you're all beautiful authors, online course developers, and digital marketers. How exciting. Alrighty, so let's just do a quick catch up on yesterday. We were talking at the end of yesterday about the videography aspect, the building your course content, and some of the do's and don'ts, etc. Just, I can see a few people huddling in coats and things. Is the temperature too cold? Yes. Okay, oh, you've turned it, beautiful. It'll take a little while, they've just turned it off for you. Reframe. So if we have any questions as well at some point, our beautiful Carlos, if there's any technical questions, might come forward if he's actually listening to us. Isn't he beautiful? A little bit sexy too. I called him sassy this morning because he was very, very cheeky, very, very cheeky to me this morning. I said, "Oh, you're sassy." And he went, "What's that?" And I went, "What's sassy, guys? A little sexy, a little cheeky." All right, so obviously, we're just going to do a little bit of an overview of recording video and some of the software items you might need, some of the do's and don'ts, the lighting do's and don'ts, all of those kinds of things to try and make it simpler for you, for those of you that really want to get into this and start producing. We'll look at the tools and the apps, the mics, the cameras, which we did yesterday, framing up, trying to give you an idea of where to position yourself in the frame of the lens and the camera, tone and speed, so your voice modulation. You know, you've got to think about the fact whether you're on video or not, you still need to think about the fact that people often are listening to you while they're doing other things, or while they're commuting on the train, or listening to you as a podcast, or, you know, as an audio book. And so it's so important to keep your voice modulated and lots of variations in tone and speed so that it becomes an interesting read and an interesting listen for them, okay? And then the do's and don'ts of all of that. We'll look at a little bit of the software and things that you'll need for video editing. So with recording the audio, we've got Camtasia. If you have, I think it's ScreenFlow for a Mac, if anyone's got a Mac, and Camtasia, they're really good editing tools, pieces of software, if you've got a PC. There are lots of other cheaper and freebies as well out there. Both of these are paid pieces of software, but for ease and grace and for learning how to use them quite efficiently. If you want to do your own editing, then they're probably the best pieces of software that you can get for the kind of price that you'll pay. But if you want to start small and use something like Audio, what's it called? Is anyone using it at the moment? It's a free software. It's been so long since I've used it. Audioscape or Audio something or other. I'll find out what it is and email it to you anyway. But it's a freebie that you can download. I think a lot of people with Macs have also got, GarageBand and a few other things that are already free on this site. And also, very basics. A lot of my online course stuff for my smaller courses is actually produced on free software that Macs already come with, called QuickTime. And I will just do my PowerPoint slide and record it on that, and then I send it away from editing. QuickTime doesn't do much editing at all. It'll just top and tail things, but I'll send that away for editing from there. So for those of you who want to do it on a low budget, there's ways to do it for very, very little money. Okay, but if you do have the money to invest in a piece of software, I recommend Camtasia or ScreenFlow, or iMovie as well, actually. And then the editing and the audio, I outsource a lot of it on Upwork. If anyone has used any of those outsourcing sites, Upwork, upwork.com, and other ones, if you want to hire somebody a little bit more permanently, there's a site out of the Philippines, and it's skipping my mind right now. Can anyone remember what it is? I've got it in my emails and let you know by the end of the day what that is. But it's if you want somebody a little bit more permanent. So I have two of my permanent sorry, this morning I'm having a couple of my stroke moments where I can't think of words. One of the staff places in the Philippines is staff.com. Staff.com is one, yes, and there's another one called PH. Onlinejobs.ph is another one as well, which is very, very good. You can search the free version. You can actually just search for the types of people that you want, and it'll give you a basic CV, a basic resume. If you find somebody you're really interested in and you think you might like to go for them, then you pay, I think it's $30 for a month's access, and it's $30 a month, but you can cancel at any time. So I normally, when I'm looking for a new staff member, I normally go on and pay my $30, and I'll find the right person, interview them on Skype, get to know them, test them for a month, and then I cancel my subscription if they work out okay. If I still need to search for somebody, I pay for another month. And it's a really good resource. I've found 2 or 3 staff from that onlinejobs.ph. And the one that you had, Tony, was staff.com, and that's out of the Philippines as well.
So 90% Philippines.
Yep. Great. Excellent. So there's a lot of resources out there for you to use. Remember, when you are searching for an outsourcer, you need to have a very clear definition of the type of content that you need them to produce or the type of work that they need to do. They need to be briefed very clearly. And a lot of the time, our outsourcers don't work and we have to let them go, not because they weren't capable. It was because we weren't able to give them clear enough instructions for them to do the job well. Yeah. And often when you do actually find somebody that you're getting on really well with and they seem to be producing a great level of work that is meeting your needs, what you then need to do is work with them to train them, treat them like any staff member you would have in your office, yeah? You need to work with them for a few months and train them, keep them connected, because if they lose interest because you're not giving them clear instructions and they feel a little overwhelmed because you're not giving them the right concepts, etc., then you'll end up losing them as well. Okay. Anyone have done any outsourcing at all as far as, say, a VA is concerned? Yep. What sort of, do you mind sharing what sort of prices and things that you're paying for people to expect?
Because I recruited specifically in Australia for it. She's fabulous. And she is, I think she charges me $45 plus GST. Yep. And I have her working for one of my other clients at $55 plus GST.
Great. And
she's
that's
fabulous.
Full-time, so you're employing somebody full-time?
Yep.
Yep, great. And that's the key. Even if you're outsourcing, whether you're outsourcing in Australia or you're outsourcing in the Philippines or elsewhere, it's so important to look for short-term jobs. I normally go for one-off jobs, things like that. I normally go for somebody on Upwork, and I've got now a team of about 6 people who specialise in very different areas, and I've been working with them for a number of years now, and I know what they're capable of, I know what they're not, and I know who specialises where. And but I might only need them 3 or 4 times a month. But if I'm looking for somebody permanent, I will look for somebody local in Australia, or I will look for somebody if I want, I don't know, a lot of audio editing, or a lot of just database kind of work or marketing kind of work, then I will go external. I might go to the Philippines. On average, I normally start somebody on their asking price, test them for a month or so, and then if we connect and we really enjoy working with each other, I usually double what they're asking for, because it's still within because I want to keep them. If they're good, I want to keep them. I don't want them to be looking for other jobs. I want to develop a relationship. I'm after long-term staff, people that are going to work with me and get to know my clients' needs and get to know what needs to happen. So be generous when you do find somebody good. Try and reflect how much respect you have for them, as well as, and they will respect you because of that, okay? And go beyond what you ask of them because of that as well.
One hint that I just was given recently, which seemed a good idea, is if you are employing people, say, from the Philippines, where it's extremely cheap, a good thing to do can be that you try 3 people and give them the same job to start with, like, say, it's video editing. And then you can compare, and the cost is very cheap, and then you know who really is good because they've done the same thing.
Absolutely. And I've done that as well. Because some of them, very basic jobs, you might find they might start at $4 or $5 an hour. Yeah. And so to employ 2 or 3 people and give them jobs to test is fantastic. But then once you find somebody you really like, pay them well. Pay them really, and especially the Philippines. It is important to remember that when you employ out of the Philippines, they have a 13-month payment system. I don't know whether it's a religious thing or whether it's just a standard national thing. Their employers pay them an extra month in December. Okay, so you have to take that into account and respect that. It's kind of a national thing, and be respectful of that. So you pay the extra month. Okay, but it's a number of Asian countries do that. So if you're going to employ people from overseas, be respectful of their guidelines, respectful of how they like to be treated, and just do a little bit of research about that as well, because, it changes their lives. If I know that one of my staff members over there has done exceptionally well and they've gone above and beyond their needs or above and beyond my needs, I'll sometimes just send them an extra $100 because I can. Relative in terms for me, it doesn't mean that much to send them an extra $100, but to them, it's incredible. Yeah, at Christmas, I'll give them a $500 bonus, and that changes their lives. Yeah, so be respectful of their culture, respectful of their needs as well. Okay. So that's kind of outsourcing. What was that? Sorry.
I just said it's the same as leave loading, isn't it?
Same as.
The extra month is just leave loading.
Yeah, it's like leave loading that we have here. Do we still have it?
Yes.
I haven't worked for somebody for so long, sorry. We have leave loading. There you go. Okay, it still exists. Michael, are you playing leave loading? Okay. Are we legal? Can we have the mic here?
Just when you're giving overseas staff access to your Facebook account or email account, things like that, be very aware that security is important. So I use a program called LastPass, and it can give them access to log in without seeing your password and things like that. So when they finish with you, you just remove their access and they can't log into any of your accounts, rather than having to go and change every single password you've ever owned. It makes it very easy to work with people overseas.
Yeah, that's lastpass.com, and it's a free.
Andrew, is that right? I've never had an expert.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
I've got no idea.
You were just looking at me saying, I use LastPass and it seems to work really well.
And Maggie's not very good at doing that. Maggie might not be doing that at all. I know. But then I've had long-term staff, so, and hopefully I haven't pissed anyone off. But yes, if I do, I actually do have a LastPass account, and I do for short-term projects until I get to know somebody and because I change my passwords quite regularly and I want to keep them abreast of that. So, but I could simplify it if I did do it on LastPass as well. I'm terrible. I must get Trish onto that. All right. We're not going to Sheni right now. We're going to Sheni later on. Any questions? Anything else you think you need to know on producing videos? Obviously, if there's any questions you have for Carlos with regards to the technicalities, we'll come, if we can bring the microphone around, that'd be great. Any questions about software, things like that, we'll continue on with that until we break.
My question is, I know we can find information about everything on internet, but if anyone has knowledge about uploading videos on YouTube, would be fantastic.
So
I'm very
how to do it,
practical,
or-
so just what's important to be able to do that, like if it's creating the account, how big the video should be, or what kind of program to use, or just to be able to start getting out there and getting active.
Yep. Really, all you need is an iPhone or an Android phone, and you can upload that straight to YouTube from there. You can record from your computer and upload straight away. It's so easy nowadays. So you just set up a free account. You would literally just go into YouTube and it'll say set up a free account. And once you've set that up, you just, not like normal, you would use a username and a password, so an email address and a password, and then you'll have upload at the top. So it'll just say upload. When you first start, you can only do a certain length of video, and you can't change your URL to personalize it until you've got over, I think it's 100 subscribers. So once you've got about 100 subscribers, you can personalize your URL. So I've got a URL for YouTube that says youtube.com/Maggie Wild. Yep. Whereas if you haven't got 100 subscribers, you'll need to try and do a little bit of a boost to try and get 100 subscribers to personalize that URL. As far as uploading, you can make them private so that only a certain amount of people can see them, or you can make them public so that everybody can see them as well. You can share from there to YouTube, to Facebook. You can do just about anything. Carlos, do you have any particular, there's no kind of video size?
Just said, any question that you have, just type it in Google or in the YouTube searcher, and you can imagine how many quick tutorials for, the typical YouTube for dummies. I mean, there's heaps of content, like starting with YouTube, or how I can set up my YouTube account, or how I can have a personalized URL. You have heaps of free content just in YouTube. Super easy.
And also there's now a section in YouTube where you can do really creative stuff like upload subtitles on your videos, because nowadays people are watching video, and I think the percentage is something like, do you know the percentage, Annie? It's something like 70%. It's really quite high that people are watching it without sound. And so it's so important on Facebook, on YouTube now, to have your subtitles there. And all of those services, Facebook has that ability now. You just go in to edit your video and you can upload your Word document there for the subtitles, or you can ask Facebook to do it automatically for you and set that, and it will. Sometimes it's not particularly accurate, but it will try and, very clunky, very clunky. I think I did a live video to Facebook on Friday just before we started, and I hadn't actually gone in to check it until this morning, and the subtitles had uploaded automatically, and I was just watching about the first 2 minutes of it and went, must go in that and edit that someday. Yeah, so it's quite clunky, but it's still enough to get by. People get an idea of what your video is about. But it's so easy to do, download your video now from Facebook or YouTube, where you would have uploaded it from something, from your computer or your phone, from YouTube anyway. But you can download it to Rev or any of those other transcription services. Within 5 minutes, you've got a transcript. You edit it really quickly, takes a couple of minutes, upload it as a Word document to YouTube or to Facebook, and you have a very accurate subtitle now.
Has to be an SRT file, I think.
Yes,
not a doc
SRT file.
Yeah.
If you do it through Rev or Go Transcribe, go-transcribe.com, they normally give it to you as an option. You can have downloaded as an SRT file or a Word doc. And the SRT file is for the transcriptions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Anyone else have any questions about videography, about lighting, about framing up, length of videos, that sort of stuff? Length of videos, I think we talked a little bit about yesterday.
This is just a really practical one for lives. Like, do you always sit there with looking gorgeous, makeup and hair, or do you ever let anyone see you, the real Maggie, professionally? It's just a silly question.
My
but
husband's
sometimes
never seen me without makeup. What are you talking about?
Okay, that answers it all.
This is me. I wake up like this. Come on.
But sometimes I see people and I just go, is that them or not? And does that really have an impact on how people perceive you professionally?
Look, I don't often go live without a reasonable. I'll go live without formal clothes, as in, not naked, but as in, just around the house or just after I've come from the gym or whatever. But because I've got a skin condition, I very rarely don't have at least a foundation on because I'm allergic to the sun and I blister very quickly. And so I have sunscreen in my makeup and it's my everyday thing. So that's kind of a health thing for me rather than a makeup thing. Some people say that it's more a makeup vain thing, but, that's okay. But I actually think it's important to occasionally just be yourself. I know you go live quite regularly as yourself, don't you? In pajamas, I've seen a live.
One of my viral videos, I was live in my group. Someone asked a really important question and I didn't want to answer it via text because I didn't want it taken the wrong way. It was about how to handle, someone who's dying of cancer, do you charge and things like that. So I jumped on and just answered as I was. And it was when they added all the face features and things. So I was halfway through answering the question. I went, oh, what's that? And I pushed the button. Next minute, I've got horns and things coming out of my head. And I lost it. Like, I kept pushing buttons, completely lost it. Just did the Chewbacca woman, the whole cackle. So I downloaded it and put it on my public page. 500,000 views. Like, it went viral and everyone still messages me saying, my God, I'm thinking about that and I'm still giggling. So it's social media. It's not business media.
Yeah.
So remember that. Do a mix of both.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have a question down at the back here.
I think it's being who you are. If you're the sort of person who wears makeup, wear it.
Yeah.
And if you're not, don't.
Yeah.
Because trying to connect with people who connect with us, aren't we?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's a very, very important important point. I feel that this is my persona. This is who I've been since kind of I can remember. And it's very rare, apart from when I come back from gym or come back from a walk or something, that I would do a live without at least meeting my professional market online in a basic kind of reasonable with a little face on. Yep. But it's important to be yourself and connect with your audience.
I just wanted to go back to the editing thing. I bought something called ClipScribe, one of those Facebook adverts, and it automatically, you put up your video and it automatically does your subtitles. Beautiful. Looks pretty good. It's only $97 US, so worth having a look at. ClipScribe.
Click or clip?
ClipScribe.
CLIP, scribe.
I've got it in here.
.com. If we get time later today as well, I might open the floor for people to share little apps or things like that they're finding useful in their online media stuff as well, because there's so much out there, really good stuff, and there's a lot of really crap stuff as well. But when a recommendation comes from somebody about a particular piece of software or app, it's better than just trying to search it out and seek it out yourself. Did anyone else have a question about videoing, editing, lighting? No? Exciting. All right. We won't probably... let me just think. Is it better to start yours now and continue on after the break, or... Oh, it's not easy for Carlos. Carlos is saying to me, no, please don't do that. Please don't do that. What was that?
You don't feel like you want a coffee or something.
Do I? All right, just a suggestion. Let me get rid of that. Then we'll wait for that till after the break. All right, so what we might do then is just look at the actual content for your online course and look at that very briefly before we break for a morning tea. And we might just, if you guys let me know when morning tea is here, and we'll try and break as early and have a bit of an early one as soon as the tea gets here, because then I want to get back and start with Annie straight away, because I've got a lot to get through for the rest of the morning. So with your content, obviously we want to make sure that your content is all completely relevant. So a lot of people think that I'll just put in that extra because I feel like I need to pad the course out. It doesn't feel like it's good enough to charge $4,974, or it doesn't feel like it's good enough to charge $2,974. And my suggestion to you is to keep it really on point. You're better off reducing the price if it's a smaller content course than you are just padding it out for the sake of it, because you remember it's your user experience that will actually determine whether you get them as a long-term client, a long-term customer, a long-term student, or whether you get referrals from them as well. You know, the majority, once you've got a good online course up and running, it's like with your clinic space, the majority of people will actually come from referrals as well, like with your clinic space, because people will do the course and go, oh my God, that was really, really good. You should do this. I've just done this course for such and such. That brings me to the kind of protection of your courses. So, you know, there's a general rule of thumb. If you go into the fear of what happens if, you know, somebody buys it for $97 and then shares it with all of their friends and, you know, I lose all of those sales and stuff. You know what? Sometimes that's going to happen. The majority of times it doesn't. I think if you go into that kind of building and uploading of content with that fear-based energy, then, you know, you're more likely to be shared and hacked and all of those things. I believe that if it's up there and it's on a good platform, it's protected anyway, and it can only be accessed via a username and password. If somebody's sharing that password, you can set in the backgrounds of your course platforms and things, you can set how many accesses the person can have before it kind of sets out a little alarm bell. And if that person's username and URL is being accessed from different IPs and things, different internet addresses, then it sets off a little alarm bell as well. So I normally set it for about 3. So it gives them the chance to log in from, you know, their work address, their home address, and there's something else address, just in case, you know, if they go on holiday and want to log in from there. But if you get too concerned about that and too fearful of people sharing, to me, I say if somebody has to share it for free, maybe they needed it more than I needed the $97. Yeah. Obviously, that goes, you know, if somebody is found to be, you know, really overstepping that mark, I have in my terms and conditions, and we must have terms and conditions in the bottom of a little link at the bottom of all of our courses with terms and conditions saying, if you're found to be sharing this, blah, 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 then we can immediately cancel your subscription or cancel your membership. So we're in our rights to do that. What I normally do is if I suspect somebody is doing that, I just drop them a little email or drop them a little phone call and just have a chat with them. Yeah. And you usually find, you know, sometimes it's just, you know, them thinking they didn't realise they couldn't and they were sharing it with their mum, or they were sharing it with their mum and their sister and 2,000 other people, and then they realise, oh, I better not do that, because you just had a little kind, gentle word with them. And if they keep doing it, then you've read it within your rights to cancel it. But I believe if we're coming from a place of fear that people are going to do that, they're going to do it. Yeah? So you might as well just go, well, maybe within reason, there's going to be a small percentage of that, and that's okay. And the majority of people are going to do the right thing and buy your course and recommend your course because of that generosity as well. They're generating leads for you. That's a wonderful way to see it. And of course, for that content, it's really important for you to have it in a secure place. So if you're using a course platform that hosts the content, something like Kajabi, something like, I think, Teachable, a number of course platforms where it actually hosts the content itself, you don't have to have an outside hosting service, then it's usually very, very secure. And that's for a lot of my bigger courses, that's certainly the kind of platforms I use because I know it's all in the one place. It's all very, very secure. There's multiple layers of protection on it anyway. And I don't have to be having multiple services and hosting services like with Amazon, whatever it is, S3 or whatever it is, to where I have to, other platforms, you have to host it in Dropbox or you have to host it in Amazon S3 and then download it into your course and it's all done from up there. And there's so many other risk factors involved. So for me, I prefer a platform where it is its own software system and all of the course is hosted on that. They are more expensive, obviously. There are other platforms that you can get that are very, very cheap to start out with, where you'll just have a WordPress website and you can have plugins. Yep, so you can have Optimize Press or, there's some Wishlist. There's so many different plugins you can have to a WordPress site.
And you can actually outsource to the Philippines to get someone to set up your course for you on LearnDash, which
yep,
really
absolutely.
And then you can just repeat it. I'm looking into that at the minute.
Yep, fantastic. So LearnDash is another one. The downside to having it through a plugin service is that if something does go wrong with their software, then your system crashes, your course crashes. And until you get that fixed, your students can't get access, they're blocked, and then you've got to spend lots of admin time trying to get them re-accessed.
Has that happened to you ever?
Absolutely. It happens still quite frequently with my Emotional Eating Solutions course, which is still on a WordPress site in Optimize Press. And it's been there now for years, and it's such a big course, I just haven't had a chance to bring it across to Kajabi. But it still crashes very regularly, so I have to have an admin person monitoring that on a daily basis to make sure my members can get access to it every day, because Optimize Press and WordPress are updating all the time, and if they're not talking to each other, my course doesn't exist. It disappears completely.
What about refunds? Because today everybody is sort of guaranteeing you satisfaction. Refunds.
Yep, refund policy. I actually have a 30-day money-back guarantee on all of my online courses, actually. All of my online courses have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So I'm happy, and I believe, and I am, to this day, I've only ever refunded one person because I was desperate to get them off my course. Yeah. Because they were disrupting my other students. They hadn't been truthful on their application form, and they were on antipsychotic medication. They were, some pretty major stuff. And my Emotional Eating Solutions course has some pretty heavy therapeutic processes in it. And if, if we're using hypnosis and somebody's on antipsychotic medication, we need to know that. And she wasn't stable, and she was, messaging the other members and putting fear of God into them and stuff. And so the moment she made one complaint about the course, I just said, that's okay, we'll just give you a complete refund. And it was outside of the 30 days. So I think she was in like 65 days or something like that. And I didn't care. Yeah, I was more than happy to refund. And my policy is if somebody does complain, I will do step one. First thing I do, no matter where I am in the business, no matter where I am in the world, is I pick up the telephone. And I just say, hey, what's happening? Tell me what's happening. Tell me where you're at. Tell me what this is about. The minute they post something in the group that's a little bit off key or whatever, because I believe if I face it up front, it can't build out of control. It can't kind of expand. And so normally it's something very simple that can be solved, and they're just one of those people that the minute they feel a little bit left out, that they go into that kind of victim brain wiring, and it can escalate if it's not managed. So my policy is, if it's somebody that has a genuine complaint, I would rather refund them in full, have a discussion with them so that they feel at ease. And I've had that with a number of people that were just wrong for an online course, and they've ended up giving me video testimonials because of the way the separation was handled as well. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And I would rather be left with that reputation than with a cranky old whatever who said, you know, just get off my course.
Yep.
So the refund policy for me, it's 30 days, and that's with any product as well. So whether it's an online product for me or if somebody buys one of my CDs or one of my this or that, I always say there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not happy, I'd rather you share the goodness than share the complaints. How many people complain to other people when they've got something that they're not happy with? Yeah, you know it with your clinics. Yeah, I think the stats are that if they're not happy with something, they'll talk to 10 people. If they're happy with something, they'll talk to 2 or 3. So I would rather grab it by the horns right up front than let it escalate out of control. Whether it's online or whether it's in clinic, I treat it that way as well. You also have to have a terms and conditions policy on your courses. So you'll notice on the bottom of all my courses, if anyone has access to any of them, there's a privacy policy and a terms and conditions. And legally now, even on a landing page, if Facebook will reject your ads if you don't have your terms and conditions and your privacy policy on the bottom of your website or your landing page. They'll reject your ads because of that reason. Okay? So that's very, very important. With structuring your content, as we talked about yesterday, anything from up to about 6 morning teas there, is it? Fantastic. Anything from about 4 to 6 to 8 modules, plus your intro and out. So it's always the +2, yeah? Or a bonus module as well, but always that +2 at least. And keeping the content in bite-sized chunks. It's also important, I think, have I got any of my books out? I wanted to talk a little bit today with regards to the length of your course and the length of your book. I'll use the shorter ones as an example. The length of your course versus the length of your book. Why do you think I did this book at 112, so let's say 100 pages, let's average it out.
Easy read.
Not daunting.
Not daunting, it's an easy read.
Committed.
Committed, people committed, the reader's committed to do it, yep. They want more when they've read it. Completion rate, high completion rate. Most people go on and buy my course as well after reading this because they get a little taster and they go, oh my God, that seems so easy. I could do that. And they're now on my list and I'm able to market the course to them. If they're the right fit, it feels good. But there's more than that. There's actually statistics now that show that the average person doesn't read any more than about that. Yeah. That books don't get completed unless there is a driving force where the person has to complete it because to finish a particular course certification, or that you have to do it for this or you have to do it for that. We are so time poor now. We consume so much information on social media, etc. Anything more than this is shown to be so daunting. People either don't buy it or don't read it. This can be read in one sitting. I did it numerous times in my edit phase, I tell you. Yeah. But within 2 hours, even a slow reader could read this and consume this. If they're really interested in certain chapters and things, they can go back and redigest it and fabulous, but they get the complete gist from beginning to end in 2 hours. Anyone, no matter how time poor, if they're interested enough in this topic, will commit that kind of space. Yeah. This, they have to be super committed to read this. And even when they get through the first 100 pages, there's another 8, 9, 10 chapters and you're kind of going, how much more can I cope with? Yeah. So they have to read it chapter at a time. That means at the worst case or the best case scenario, if it's say 12 chapters, it's going to take them, if they do a chapter at a time, 12 days to read it, isn't it? What happens in a 12-day lifespan of a human being? Lots. I was going to say shitloads. Yeah, lots. And so in that 12-day period, they get distracted, they get turned off track, the rallies arrive and say, here's our beautiful Christmas cake we forgot to bring you last Christmas, let's all munch on it right now with 4 bottles of champagne, and this is out of the window, isn't it?
If it's me, I've added another 2 books to the
And you've added another 2 books to the pile, exactly. Yeah, and an online course to finish, and a Netflix series to finish watching, and a blah, 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 and a blah, blah, blah. Yeah? So nowadays, and that's why I recommend to all my authors that they do between 112 and 120 pages. Yeah? And that's kind of the statistics at the moment that people can consume.
And how many words does that equal?
This is around 18,000 to 20,000 words. Yeah? Maximum, I would suggest, for a digestible book, unless you're writing your tomb. If you're writing your legacy, you might want to do this. Or if you're writing for academia or anything, you'll do it longer. Obviously, it depends on the audience. But in general, if you do 18,000 to 24,000, you'll get a book around this kind of size, up to about 120 or 30. But I wouldn't nowadays do any more than 140 for this self-help market. Cool? 18,000 to 24,000. Yep.
What if you're including, say, diagrams and pictures?
Exactly the same. Yep. So this is padded out with diagrams and pictures at that amount of words. So this is about 19,000, I think. And it has lots of diagrams, lots of images, and is such an easy read because like every chapter starts with an image of kind of the content of that chapter. So this chapter talks about being 1% off course, and we've got an image of, because I talk about in the book, about, if you're in a plane or in a rocket ship, if you're 1 degree off course, you're millions of miles away from your goal. And so we use that as an image to introduce that concept in the book. And at the beginning of every chapter, there's a full-page image like that. There's diagrams. There's also pull-out quotes and things. So grab a copy of this and have a look later on and just look at the layout. This was actually formatted to New York Times best-selling standards for self-help books. Yep. So it gives you an idea of the kind of standards to expect. There's lots of free and paid image services, a bit like we talked about with our front page cover photos and our marketing photos. Get your copyright. I promise you, there are fines of between $5,000 and $10,000 and $30,000, especially with Getty Images, which a lot of images on the internet that you search for are owned by Getty Images, and you will receive fines in your inbox if you don't have the copyright to use them commercially. So things like iStock photos, FreePic, Shutterstocks. There's also FreePic. You can have a free service, and there's quite a lot of images you can get, but you can do the pro service, which is not that expensive. I use that, and you get access to far more images as well. And a lot of them, because not many people know about that one, a lot of them are actually a little unique. They're not yet out there. Whereas I find a lot on iStock and stock photos, they've been used quite widely now. So FreePic is still a little new. Any others you'd recommend?
I love Creative Market.
Creative Market is another one.
Templates and stuff.
Great. Templates, all those sorts of things.
What's the target RRP for that size book?
Yep. I do $29. And then if I'm at an event or something like that, I will discount it to either 19 or 20. It's usually at a live event, it's usually 20 if somebody's buying it from me directly. And sometimes I'll do a special on it for 19 or 15 or whatever on the internet as well. It gives me a little bit of movement. If you're getting this printed in the thousands level, so a minimum of 1,000 for offset printing, you're looking at maybe between $2 and $3. Yeah. If you're printing at print on demand through Amazon, where you don't have to carry stock, which is marvelous because you don't have to come up with the money up front. People can order 1 at a time. You can order 10 at a time. It's very easy. Then something like this might cost you, I'm trying to think the commissions I get, the royalties I get from Amazon. Say on my Unzip book, I'll get, if somebody buys this in the UK, I think I end up with about £6 which is about $12, I think, something like that. In the US, I think I end up with about $8 out of the royalties of that. I printed my first 1,000 and a couple of thousand since because I have a big audience. I actually stock my own books as well. And in Australia, I got this because I tried to keep it locally. And I found a printer that tries to compete with overseas prices. And this printer does all of the Hay House books in Australia as well. So they're very used to doing self-help books. With the DVD, I think this costs me, because it has a DVD in the back, or this copy doesn't, but it normally does. I think it costs me about $10, including the DVD and the packaging. About $6 to $7 for the book itself. So, it can be, but if you're ordering 1,000, that's $6 or $7 grand, isn't it? So you've got to have the cash flow to be able to do that. That's why digital printing on demand, when you're first starting out, is usually the best option because you don't have to have the big cash injection to order books in. There's pluses and minuses to print on demand versus offset printing. These, if they're left in the sun, print on demand can often fade or change colour, etc. Whereas offset printing is printed into, the ink is actually embedded into the paper, so it will never do that. But it's still an incredibly good quality, incredibly good quality. Let's break for morning tea. It's 10:30. We'll come back here at 11 and we will go with the beautiful Annie. We've got some exciting stuff to share with you this morning. Yay!